Welcome back to Clear Cut. An unnamed Israeli military official has reportedly told the New York Times that Israel was behind an attack on a Syrian airbase last week. The deadly strike was allegedly in response to an explosive-laden Iranian drone that Israel shot down over Israeli airspace in February. Now, the army official told the Times that the incident opened a new period in the battle between Iran and Israel. Since the new details were published, Israel has walked back the claims, saying it was not responsible and has disassociated itself from the anonymous source. Meanwhile, China reportedly intends to assist Iran in building several small nuclear power plants. They say that these reactors will be for civilian use. The two countries have been involved in ongoing talks. The move comes as the Trump administration is considering withdrawing from the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran. The president wants his European allies to negotiate a better deal. Iran has warned that the U.S. will regret leaving the deal. Let's now go to Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion Project, a conservative website reporting on the dangers of radical Islam. Ryan, good to have you with us. And Ryan, I want to get your reaction to some breaking news that we've been following. Reports from Hezbollah and Syrian army sources that Syria's air defense system has responded to a missile attack on the Shiite airbase in the city of Homs. According to regime media, the air defense system activated in response to an alleged Israeli airstrike. What do you make of this?
Well, I'm actually not surprised because Israel had been hitting targets in Syria at an increasing pace over the past year or so, and then it really increased recently, and that's partially because Iranian forces basically control Syria. Syria, for all intents and purposes, doesn't exist. Anything that's controlled by Assad is run by the Iranians with some Russian help. And so this is a major chemical weapon site, according to the public reports that are out there. I'm not surprised at all that Israel would want to strike at it, especially if missile technology or something else was being transferred to Hezbollah or even some of the Shiite militias that are backed by Assad. And when Israel does this type of thing, it's not just about Israel. American lives are also saved, and the lives of many Muslims are also saved because this infrastructure is used to wage war on just about everybody.
Ryan, we already know that Iran has vowed a strong retaliation for what is believed to have been an Israeli strike in Syria about a week ago. 7 Iranian Quds Force soldiers killed in that attack. Just today, a top Iranian commander boasting about Iran's forces. We know that Iran's military budget is at a record $15.9 billion. You look at that action, you look at these comments, you look at this potential action from the Israelis. What does this mean for escalating tensions between Iran and Israel? Is that inevitable at this point that Iran will take some kind of military action?
Well, they're always trying to take military action using their proxies, whether it's through al-Qaeda, and the al-Qaeda presence in Iran doesn't get enough attention, or whether it's more overtly through Hezbollah or backing Hamas. That's kind of an ongoing thing. I would expect the Iranians in just even far remote places across the world to be looking at trying to target Israelis or just Jews because they lump them all together in retaliation. And whether they succeed or not in doing something like blowing up a bus remains to be seen. But we have a pretty good track record of stopping them. And the big question now is how Assad and Iran are going to calculate the strength of the blame the Jews strategy as Assad is under pressure. Because what do? Every time they are under pressure, they somehow try to distract and pick a fight with Israel. It doesn't really work anymore. It doesn't result in regional uproar on behalf of the Iranians and Assad, but I'm not sure that they've realized that yet.
Raina, I want to get your take on what we reported on a little earlier, these small nuclear reactors that Iran and China are working together on. According to the Fars News Agency, they can be used in different industries, including shipbuilding, and there is concern that Iran is seeking to build nuclear-powered submarines here. What do you make of this, and why would China get involved with Iran on any nuclear project?
China's been close to Iran for quite some time. It appears that what they have done they've used North Korea to basically do their dirty work. So if China wants to have a deal with Iran, all of a sudden North Korea comes in, and then that's how the missiles are transported, and the Chinese are aware of all of that. This is a more overt measure because Iran wants the Chinese involved directly, and this is part of a nuclear weapons infrastructure. Listen, a civilian nuclear site is only civilian in Iran until it starts being used overtly for military purposes. There isn't really a distinction here. And so one of the ways that the U.S. should respond is really calling out these two countries on their hypocrisy. China kills Muslims, and Iran potentially helps radical Muslims attack the Chinese.
All right, Ryan, we're going to have to leave it there. Appreciate it. Ryan Mauro, national security analyst at the Clarion Project. Thank you. Well, Israel's military has now destroyed the longest and deepest terror tunnel ever discovered. It's the 5th tunnel of its kind that Israel has discovered in just the past 5 months. And now Israel has revealed its laboratory that played a key role in this tunnel's detection. I-24 News defense correspondent Daniel Tzemach explains.
Tunnels, a Hamas weapon of choice that Israel is investing over $3 billion to thwart. Most recently, this past Sunday, the IDF announced that it had destroyed the longest and deepest attack tunnel Hamas has ever built. A tunnel that breached Israeli territory by tens of meters. A peak issue in the 2014 Gaza war, where 32 tunnels were destroyed. But that was far from the end. In the past 6 months alone, IDF has destroyed 8 tunnels. 5 of those penetrated Israeli territory only a few miles away from communities along the border. 2 near the Kerem Shalom crossing. Another 2 near the Israeli community of Kisufim. And 1 more near the Israeli community of Nahal Oz. The IDF is employing a multifaceted approach to deal with Hamas's strategic weapon. One tool is a massive underground barrier Israel is building around the Palestinian enclave. Reinforced with sensors and fortified concrete, around 6 out of the 41 miles have been built. Not sparing any time, 2 years ago, the IDF also established a scientific laboratory to detect and locate the tunnels. Run by scientists and engineers, the lab located 5 tunnels in recent months. After finding the tunnels, the military destroys them by demolition and at times even sealing them off from within with a material that can fill a tunnel completely, as was implemented on the most recent tunnel discovered. Israel's systematic approach is proving effective, but the Israeli defense establishment acknowledges the threat still exists, and there are tunnels yet to be uncovered. Until then, it will be a race to see if Israel can finish its barrier before a tunnel is successfully used to execute an attack in Israeli territory. Daniel Tzemach, I-24 News.
All right, still ahead on Clear Cut, is Poland's president in denial? What his Israeli counterpart said or didn't say about the Holocaust.